All right, team, welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. Today, I'm really excited to dive into some cutting-edge stuff. I've been poring over the latest research on digital trends, and honestly, it's fascinating. I've even leveraged some advanced AI, yeah, you heard that right, to break down the core insights. This way, we can get straight to the actionable strategy. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. We've analyzed the latest data on AI in education to help you sharpen your strategic thinking. The world is really at a crossroads, and it feels like the classroom is ground zero for this whole thing. Today, we're going to dig into how AI isn't just some new subject, it's a fundamental shift in the very fabric of how we learn.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures the moment we're in, doesn't it? I mean, when generative AI first exploded onto the scene, the gut reaction in so many schools was just, ban it, shut it down. The fear was that students would just stop learning, right? They just let the AI do all their work. But the reality is, that train has left the station. And trying to stop it isn't just pointless, it's a losing strategy. So that first impulse was prohibition. And you know what that led to? A full-blown technological arms race in the classroom. Educators started scrambling for AI detectors, trying to catch students in the act. But here's the problem with that whole approach. The AI models are always going to be one step ahead. They just get better and better and better, until there's literally nothing left to detect. So the real strategic question isn't, how do we stop this? It's got to be, how do we harness this to fundamentally make education better?
Okay, so before we can really look forward, we have to take a hard look at where we are right now. Every single hour in a classroom is precious. So we have to ask ourselves, are we using that time to give students the skills they'll need for the 2030s? Or are we still teaching them the skills of the 1980s? Let's look at a super clear example. For our grandparents' generation, right, good penmanship was a sign of a great education. Cursive was a fundamental skill you had to have. But then the world shifted. Today, how fast and clearly you can type is infinitely more valuable in the workplace than how elegant your handwriting is. It's not that penmanship is bad, it's just that its value has been totally eclipsed by a new technology. And here's another one, rote memorization. Come on, how many of us spent weeks memorizing the periodic table? Now, why would we spend so much of that precious class time forcing students to memorize facts they can look up in a nanosecond? The real skill isn't recalling the data. It's understanding the principles behind it. That's where the real learning happens. And what about the calculator? Think about it. At first, a lot of teachers were worried it would make students lazy. But we all figured out pretty quickly that once you get the fundamentals of math, the calculator is an incredibly powerful tool. It frees up your brain to focus on higher-level stuff, like algebra and calculus. We don't call that cheating. We call it being efficient. And AI? Well, AI is just the next much, much more powerful calculator. So if we're going to spend less time on skills that technology can just automate, what do we replace them with? Well, the answer is a big shift to a new essential mindset. We need to focus on the uniquely human capabilities that AI can amplify, not replace. And getting this right is a core strategic insight we really focus on here at TNT Digital Mindset. The skills of the future, they're not about coding, they're not about knowing a specific piece of software, they're mindsets. First, flexibility, being able to adapt to all the new possibilities AI opens up. Second, creative thinking, coming up with novel solutions that an AI might totally miss. And finally, the most important one of all, critical thinking. Yeah, in the age of AI, critical thinking becomes the single most important human skill, period. AI can confidently spit out things that are completely wrong, totally biased, or just not useful at all. The human has to be the final judge, constantly asking, is this true? Is this actually useful? And, maybe most importantly, what are the unintended consequences of me using this information? Okay, so now that we know what skills to focus on, let's look at how this technology can actually be a powerful co-pilot for learning instead of a replacement for teachers. The potential here is it's incredible. Imagine an AI as a personalized tutor for every single student, one that can patiently explain a concept in 10 different ways until it finally clicks. Or think of it as a teaching assistant that handles all the grading and lesson planning, freeing up teachers to do what they do best, inspire and mentor kids. This isn't about replacing humans, it's all about amplifying their impact. This quote just nails it. A human teacher, no matter how amazing they are, has to divide their attention across an entire classroom. They can get tired, they might run out of new ways to explain something, but an AI tutor,
It's infinitely patient, it never gets frustrated, it can try a dozen different approaches until it finds the one that works for that one specific student. That is a true game changer for education. All right, let's connect the dots now, from the classroom to the boardroom, because this isn't just some academic debate. This is a strategic mandate for all of us. The skills we teach in schools today directly build the workforce of tomorrow, and understanding that connection is at the very core of what we do here at TNT Digital Mindset. So, what are the new fundamentals for the 21st century? It's not just reading, writing, and arithmetic anymore. The new basics are AI literacy, really understanding what these tools can and can't do, and AI ethics. We have to teach students to ask not just, can I do this, but should I do this? Just let this question sink in for a second. Can you seriously imagine any boss in the future saying, hey, get this project done, but whatever you do, don't use AI? It's completely unthinkable. The jobs of the future won't just allow AI, they're going to demand that you're good at it just to stay competitive. The conclusion here is just simple and completely unavoidable. The classroom is the training ground for the workplace. So if we expect our future workforce to be masters of these incredibly powerful tools, we have a fundamental responsibility to teach them how to use them safely and effectively while they're in school. So we'll leave you with this one last critical question. The choices we're making in education today, they're going to determine whether the next generation is equipped to compete in this modern era of AI, or if they're going to be left behind, perfectly trained for a world that just doesn't exist anymore. If you want to master the digital economy, make sure to subscribe to TNT Digital Mindset. Thanks for listening.